There it is. Yeah, cool. Check, check, check. Okay, I'm going to put us on. Here we go. And when you're ready. Good morning. We are back. It's 10:11. Go ahead and share this out. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you so much for hanging out and taking the time to tune in. We're going to be talking about literature. We're going to be talking about books, and we're going to be talking about this brand new novel that just came out. I believe I'm going to say it right. It's called Chimera by W.J. Norman. And I have Jeff in studio, the author. I'm going to go ahead and switch us back on the FM. I'm going to get him introduced, and then we're going to be sharing and talking about everything that's in this book. And before we go on, one of the first things I look at whenever I look for books is if there's any pictures or illustrations in there. Because when I was a kid, I would always pick books that had pictures and illustrations, so I had less pages, so I had to read less. And there are. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm reading this book. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:12 on a Tuesday. We were hanging out with Dr. Aaron Chapa from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, and right now I have a new guest. He's going to be telling us all about his brand new book. It's Chimera by W.J. Norman. I have the author in studio. What's up? I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then maybe talk about what the overview, without giving away too much, what is in this book. So what's your name?
So my name's Jeff Norman. I'm from League City, Texas. My pen name obviously is W.J. Norman. My first name's William, so that's why it's W.J. Norman on the book.
Cool.
But basically, it's a fantasy story about four 12-year-olds who get thrust into a dream realm unexpectedly. And in this dream realm, there is basically a dethroned wizard and an evil sorceress that are on the brink of battle. And so the story basically goes from there. The kids go on to encounter, there's really cool magical beasts in it. They fight legendary battles. And they really what it's about is how the kids learn real courage, sacrifice, and how to live with purpose.
Okay, so you're from League City.
Yep.
And did you always know that you wanted to write a book? And who did you grow up reading?
Well, I didn't really read growing up. That's what's kind of funny. I didn't start reading till later in life. I was more of a sports guy growing up. So I was always busy playing baseball, soccer, football, tennis, any sport basically. And then when I lost all the sports and I got older, I started reading Patrick Rothfuss, and his first book was called The Name of the Wind, and that's really, ever since I read that book, it made me fall in love with fantasy stories. So really, I guess Patrick Rothfuss, J.R. Tolkien, and C.S. Lewis are my main
Like influences.
Yeah, and this book, it kind of looks similar to, it has a lot of those different stories kind of thrown in, which were obviously in my head at the time.
Yeah, so whenever you were looking to create or pick a pen name, I feel like that's a big ordeal. Did you have any, I don't want to call it a fake name, but I'm going to write under a different alias, because you don't go by WJ on a daily basis, right?
No, I don't. I go by Jeff.
So you go by Jeff, but was there ever another name, or you're just like,
no,
it sounds good, WJ.
Yeah, I didn't. I wrote this for my daughter. I have an 8-year-old, and when I was writing it, she's in second grade, so she was in the first grade. It was last year, and she was really wanting to learn how to write a story and put stories together. She loves books, and so I was like, well, let's start writing one. So I just started that's how I started the book, was just kind of dabbling around and writing, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of a cool story.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Man, what did I? Oh man, stumbled in this.
She was really into it, and so I knew that I had something that would really capture a kid's attention.
Did she help you with any of the choices or decisions that happen in the book?
Yeah, she helped me with quite a few. So there are the magical beasts. They're called Valairs in the book. And they're basically mixed breed animals. Like the word Chimera means basically a mixed breed animal. And the alpha of the Valairs basically has the head of a lion, the horns of a goat, the wings of a dragon, and the tail of a dragon. So it's very similar to what the mythology of a Chimera is. But then there are the other Valairs as well, and she helped me create the other Valairs. So one one's named Lily, and Lily is pink and white, but she has the body of a zebra, like with pink stripes, a gold horn, like a unicorn, a pink dragon tail. Yep, that one. Yep, pink dragon tail and wings, and the legs of a cheetah. So you can't see the color in the printed book, but on my Facebook page, I have all the pictures in color.
All right, that's cool. So is that on your personal Facebook page or for the book?
No, I have some book Facebook page. It's The World of Chimera, if you look that up by the tagline.
Okay.
Yeah, and so if you turn the page there's other ones. Like, that's the one section with pictures. So she helped me create all of these beasts.
Very cool. And how did that make her feel? Because I can only imagine.
Oh, she loves creating things, and like outlandish things is like her specialty.
Yeah. So one of the questions I did want to ask, and I thought of this a little bit earlier, but so who is this book written for? Like you mentioned, hey, I started writing this because, my daughter, she was helping. What kind of audience and age range would you expect to love this book?
I would expect from third grade into middle school, really. And I mean, if you're into the fantasy genre, you'll probably enjoy it as well. It's just more targeted to kids. It's kind of like the Chronicles of Narnia. Like adults love those books, but they're targeted more at kids.
Right.
It's very similar to that kind of audience. So I would prefer like a middle grade age group, I think, to actually grasp the themes and everything.
Yeah. So what kind of process does it take to actually get physical copies, of a book? It seems like that's not easy. If it was easy, then everybody would be like, thinks they're,
it was not
an author.
Easy. It was really not easy. So what I did is I self-published through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is a really cool tool that Amazon has, where authors can go and basically build your book for no cost and publish your book. So the cover you see there, I designed that on an app on my phone with different clip arts and plugins, and colored it.
What app?
Canva.
Canva. I have Canva. That was going to be my guess.
Yep. Canva.
I love Canva. If you don't have Canva, that is a nugget. Like, go download Canva.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner or you just want to make interesting posts, there's all kinds of features on there.
Yeah, and so I made the cover, the front cover with that, and then KDP they have a really cool system. It just kind of really walks you through every bit of the process to get that physical book. It took me. That was probably the most stressful part because I have no idea what I was doing at first, and I had to learn everything from formatting to what font, just different choices of what font to use.
Yeah, that seems like it would be because I don't know. Like, I would end up using Kid Print because that was like my favorite one, or Wingdings.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to translate this yourself, good luck.
Right.
That's how deep my novel is, right? Cool.
Yeah, it was very difficult. That part was very difficult, and a lot of time went into that. But I really enjoyed doing it, looking back at it, because I mean, if you're going to really go to a publishing house and publish your book, it's going to cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So really, this way, all I do is pay. I pay KDP for author copies, and then they ship them directly to me. They print them and ship them directly to me.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So now that you have kind of the process down, I feel like you've gone through the hardest part. Maybe the first one, maybe the follow-up. Is there going to be multiple books or follow-ups in this series?
Well, I'm hoping so. I have started a second book. I'm taking a little break from the writing right now just to give my brain a rest from basically the process of writing this one. So I really want a fresh mind coming in. I have a good idea on where to take the world and the characters, and I do hope that I'll produce more. Yeah, I really have an idea for a 4-book series, so that's what I'm hoping for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So, we got introduced from a mutual friend, Brock.
Yeah.
So I was actually sitting with someone else, and Brock called. So we're talking to him about some video stuff, and Brock said, "Hey, I got a friend who wrote a book, and I really want to get some film to it." And I was like, "I want to. Let's help. Let's help make this happen." Do you see this turning into a movie, a film, a short film, a series? Do you see that the potential for that?
I would love for that to happen. It's a very imaginative story. Like as you see on the cover, the sky is green and the trees are blue and the clouds are purple and stuff like that. So it would definitely require some kind of CGI in it with the magical beasts and stuff like that. But that's really, when I read it, I kind of visualize it like that. And even my wife told me after she read it, she said, I would like to see that in a movie, because I think it would be really cool to see everything happen. There's a lot of good action sequences and and stunning visuals that would.
You would have to be involved though, right? Because let's say if somebody else took it and I know you'd be like, this is not the way it was supposed to be, because somebody else reads this, and that's what one of the benefits about literature is. It's kind of the person's creativity. What they see. Everyone has a different story in their head, even though it's the exact same story.
Right. Yeah, I would want to be at least. Yeah, I would want to be involved. I feel like it's well written for to follow some kind of screenplay. I don't have a screenplay obviously for it, but I think it flows well to where if you just followed chapter by chapter, it would tell a good story.
Okay, cool. So before we went on the air, the FM, and on Facebook Live, you mentioned that you have a full-time job as well.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you do in that line of work?
I'm a physical therapist assistant at Ashton Park Care Center, right across the freeway here in Texas City.
Yeah.
So we care for the elderly, and I do the physical therapy there to help the patients regain their function.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you end up in that line of work? Is that something you always, you thought you wanted to go into the medical field?
No, not really. I actually, like I said, I played sports growing up, and I went to college to play baseball. And so that was really my dream. And then I tore my rotator cuff in college and my first semester, so I didn't even get to play in college. But what that showed me, and it opened up the world that I'm in now, is the physical therapy, because I had to go through that. And I had kind of a questionable experience with physical therapy, but I enjoyed the environment where I had my physical therapy, and I just saw the possibility to help people. And I've always liked helping people, and that was kind of really what I saw. And then I saw that San Jack South has the physical therapist assistant program, and so I applied, and it just hit home. I love it.
What position did you play in baseball?
I went to college as a catcher. In high school, I went to Clear Creek High School down the road, and I was a pitcher and a shortstop mostly there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And are you an Astros fan?
Yeah, big Astros fan.
I'm going to have to bring something up that no one's really been talking about much. What do you think about all of the allegations? And the Astros have been kind of quiet about it, after there was all these videos. Have you seen any of the videos where they say the Astros were banging on trash cans and all that stuff?
Yeah, I saw one, and it was pretty obvious that something was
going on. I'm listening to the audio, and I'm saying there's no way this audio is not doctored in some way, whether they are bringing up the levels, at certain points, and bringing it down, bringing up the levels. There's something. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff in post that people don't even realize. And I'm like, okay, this has to be doctored in some way, because everybody that's watching on TV, if I can hear it on my phone, everybody watching on TV would notice, oh, someone's banging something in the dugout, and then who's banging? I need more info to come out before I am 100% making my decision.
Yeah,
not that mine matters at all.
I'm the same way. I like to think the best of them, and I don't want to believe it, but when I saw that video, I was like, okay, they're doing something. But then they, in baseball, in any sport, you're looking to get an advantage over your opponent. But if you see say a batter's in the batter's box and he sees the pitcher's tipping his pitches somehow by what he's doing, and he tells his teammate, I don't see anything wrong with that. But from what I'm hearing with the Astros is they're going to extreme lengths, like putting cameras in a seat and using little flashlights to communicate from the outfield and stuff like that. So that's a little far, I feel like.
What kind of Morse code do they have going on? I feel like that would be more of a hassle than it would be, of a benefit. Because then it's okay, they'd have to see the catcher from outfield, blink a light, or watching the TV, in the dugout, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, okay, bang the trash can 3 times, and it's ding, ding, ding. It's come on, maybe you should pitch faster, instead of doing your whole little routine.
Well, It is funny just to watch that video. Really, what my concern is going forward with the Astros, I think they're going to get penalized pretty severely because Major League Baseball is going to try to make an example out of them.
Yeah.
Even though you had the Red Sox stealing signs with their Apple Watches, you've had other people doing this, but I feel like they seem to have something against the Astros. I don't know what it is, but I think they're going to come down on them hard. And then not only that, but the hitters' performances, because when you get used to knowing what pitch is coming, it kind of like gets you in the habit of not having to do half your job, because half your job as a hitter is recognizing the pitch before you hit it. So if you're not having to do that on your home games, I mean, that you can see, I could see them really struggling in the future if they were to keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was looking at some of the averages and stuff, and people were saying, well, like during that season or during the playoff, they only won on the road, and they lost every game at home.
Yeah, and that one.
How do you explain that? Mr. Trash Can banging
that's a
theory.
good point.
So, I don't know. Right now it's 10:27. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you haven't downloaded the KHEA Radio app, go do that today. All you have to do is search KHEA inside the Google Play Store or in the App Store. Smash the download. You can go and view every single recorded interview, sit-down time, Kickstart that's ever been in existence right from the app. It's also on our YouTube channel, which that streams from. We're also on anywhere that you can stream a podcast from. So on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, search KHEA Radio, search Kickstart, subscribe to that thing, and make sure that you listen daily, re-listen, share it out. If there's ever anything beneficial that you find, you can go back and check it out on there as well. There's a lot of people that we talk to that maybe can't watch, but they can listen, in their car, go back and listen, or if they're getting ready for the day or they work in a kitchen, there's all kinds of things you can do. And right now we are talking to Jeff, W.J. Norman, about his brand new book, Chimera. When did this come out?
It came out, let's see. It came out in the summer.
This summer. Mm-hmm. So it's brand new.
Yeah, it's brand new, yeah.
And here's a question that I have, because when I was talking about the podcast, I was thinking audiobooks. I listen to some audiobooks. Mm-hmm. It's easy, podcasts, audiobooks, you plug it in your car. Do kids listen to audiobooks? Is that something that you have seen?
My daughter likes listening to audiobooks. That's my only experience I have with kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, from what I've seen, they do like listening to them, especially at bedtime, going to bed. They'll like to listen to something while they're trying to fall asleep.
Yeah.
I don't have an audiobook format for this yet, but I would like to produce one. Me and Brock have actually been talking about that.
Yeah. Would you want to do it in your voice?
I don't think so. I don't feel like I have like a warm voice for an
for this
audiobook.
book.
Yeah, and it's going to require someone with a dynamic range, I feel like. Could you have that evil sorceress that
so acting and feeling out the characters.
Yeah. To really make it authentic and make the listener feel it, I think I would want someone with a dynamic voice range.
Okay, that's cool. Sometimes I've heard some books and the author has read it, and I think they do a great job, but it's not necessarily, books like this.
Yeah.
And then I've heard books that the author didn't read it, and it's just someone reading through it, and it's just like, this is lame.
Exactly.
Like, I want to find another book that has some kind of emotion. They know what's going on, like, and not just like reading the text.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So I'm going to read the back of this. So this is kind of a little description of the book, right?
Yeah, it's a summary.
Okay, so Beckett's 12th birthday party doesn't quite go as expected when he and his three friends are cursed into a dream realm on the brink of war between a dethroned wizard and a wicked sorceress. Join Beckett, Charity, Mott, and Bristol in this captivating tale as they encounter magical beasts, fight legendary battles, and experience epic adventures that change their lives forever. Welcome to the realm of Chimera, where dreams collide with reality. Did I say the names right of the characters?
You did. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Crystal, I feel like this is a book that you would enjoy. You are a fantasy fan, if that's the right term.
I am a fantasy fan, and I'm a huge nerd. Not that your book is nerdy, or I don't mean that as an insult.
Why did you call it Crystal?
But like, I am a huge nerd.
Nerds
so,
are cool.
Like, I love everything science fiction, fantasy, like all of that is right up my alley. I 100% would have read this when I was a child. I would probably still like to read it
now.
It's still here today. you can read this copy. I'll let you borrow it after I'm done.
Yeah, whenever you were describing the premise, I definitely got a lot of Tolkien and C.S. Lewis vibes from it. It's exciting. It sounds like, I mean, my little sister loves to read, so I think she would definitely enjoy this book as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, from the feedback that I've got, it's a lot of adults are reading the book and loving it, and then there's been quite a few high school kids and middle school kids that have really enjoyed it.
Hey, so here's a comment on our Facebook feed. Christina says, I love his sweater vest.
Oh, okay.
She
Thank
likes
you,
your
Christina.
sweater vest. You know, anytime I think of sweater vest, one of the coolest person like that I've ever seen is Mark McGrath. And he could rock a sweater vest so hard. Do you know who Mark McGrath is?
Yeah.
Sugar Ray? Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, everybody knows who
I'm
that is.
just wondering. That was like, man, they had put out some hits, and he made it look so cool. Like he would sometimes wear it with the shirt, sometimes without, and he's just like, I'm just wearing a sweater vest, looking cool. I'm Mark McGrath with my bleach hair.
I don't go
Cool
that
guy.
far.
Maybe you should. Imagine like it's like W.J. Norman. He's the guy. He's kind of like Mark McGrath-esque.
Some things from the 90s should stay in the 90s.
Yeah.
What?
I agree.
That's coming back. Like everything 90s is coming back. You see these kids wearing like the scrunchies on their arms, and there's an eye roll over there.
My little sister, she has scrunchies and like a hydro flask. And so
Yeah.
it's like, and I oop and all that like Visco girl stuff.
Yeah.
It drives me insane.
It's pretty much like a 90s kid.
The trends do recycle.
I was there. I remember.
I don't think that was ever really a trend, though. That was one guy.
Oh, the and I oop.
Yeah.
And I.
No, the vest over.
Oh,
the
Mark
sweater.
McGrath. Yeah. That's fair. That was just Mark McGrath. Probably the coolest guy. If somebody knows him, I'd love to meet Mark McGrath. See what he's up to. Maybe come over for dinner. Have a good time.
I feel like you need better dreams.
No. Mark McGrath is cool. Sugar Ray was a great band.
Keep telling yourself that.
You didn't like Sugar Ray?
No.
I'm way older than you.
Well, okay, I enjoy 90s music because, like, I was born in the 90s, so I'm a 90s kid. I'm not that much younger than you, just like 6 years, 7.
Yeah, that's
Something like
enough.
that.
So, like, when I'm in 6th grade and Sugar Ray's putting out hits, you were in, like, kindergarten or something. I don't know.
How old are y'all?
I'm not a mathematician over here.
I'm 27. He's
I'm 30
33.
I'm 33.
Oh, I'm older than both of y'all.
I'm not a wizard. I don't know. Math is hard. Yes, 90s forever, Christina. I agree with you. Right now it's 10:33. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. We're going to keep it going on Channel 46 and right here on our KHEA Radio Facebook page. Boom. How old are you?
I'm 37. I'll be 38 this month,
Cool. When?
So-
What day?
the 23rd.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thanks.
Do you have any plans?
Not really. I try not to make plans.
What is it like having a birthday right before Christmas?
It's not easy.
The one gift thing.
Well,
I feel
growing
like.
up, the gifts, my parents were always good with the gift part. It's just like growing up, your friends are always busy, and it's not their fault. It's a holiday, so it's like we always had to do my birthday party like a month before or after or something like that.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I have my wife has a friend, and I mean, she's my friend too, but I think her birthday's on Christmas.
Really?
Yeah. And so you share a birthday with Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. It's great company to be in. But yeah, there's the whole happy birthday. This is
Right.
one gift. It's like, well, am I getting ripped off? But it's all good. It's all
Yeah, now I'm old and it doesn't really matter.
just giving it to the kids. And you
Yeah.
have just one daughter?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. That's cool. I got 2 kids and one on the way. My wife's at the doctor
Wow.
right now, so yeah. And my son, he loves to read. He's 7, so he just turned 7. So I'd be interested to see, because for him, he likes going through books, but he hasn't attempted to read anything this big. So this may be a good start for him.
Yeah. It's like a chapter book format. I think there's 14 total chapters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I read it to my daughter. I'd like to, whenever she's at a higher reading level, I want her to, dig in and read it for herself.
Yeah. Did you do it like at bedtime or just like whenever?
Yeah. So I actually wrote this book. I wrote a copy or a version of this book, and I would kind of write a chapter and then read it to her. And then I had my wife read that version of the book, and then she gave me some really good feedback about it being a little predictable. And so I went back and I totally rehauled the whole story.
Was that tough to take
Yeah.
that feedback? It's just like, it was perfect. What are you talking about? Yeah.
It wasn't, I could see what she was saying, so it wasn't tough to hear the feedback. What was tough was just like throwing away the parts that I had worked on. So it's like, why did I even work on this when but
Yeah.
But really that's what writing is. You have to really just sit down and write, and if something doesn't work, you got to be able to throw it away and reimagine it.
Remember those books where you were involved? It's like there's door A and door B.
Yeah.
Like, which one do you go through?
Yeah.
You go through B and this happens.
There's a lot of those moments in this story where I was like, well, how do I want to tell this part of the story, or where are they going next? And that's really, my daughter helped me with quite a bit of that. So
Yeah.
it really thrives on a child's imagination, I feel like, because her imagination really helped form it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How can we purchase the book? How can somebody get a
Just
copy?
directly on Amazon. You just search Chimera W.J. Norman, and it pops up, and it's $9.99 on Amazon, and they'll print one and ship it right to you. Prime and everything.
Yeah. So that's a really good price point. Was that important to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll see books as like $18, and I'm like, $18?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, well, like I said, I wrote this for my daughter, so I mean, if it turns into something bigger, which I mean, I wouldn't mind. I would like that, but at the same time, I'm proud of what it is, and that she likes it, and then I was able to write it for her. And there's a little dedication in there for her. I think the second page or so.
Yeah.
So that's a memory that we'll have for our whole life.
Have you gotten feedback from anybody else yet? I know the book just came out, so there's a lot of people that maybe haven't had the opportunity to read it yet. Have you gotten feedback, and what's it like getting even like positive feedback? If somebody's like, "This is good," it's like a surreal thing.
Yeah, it is. I've had 14 Amazon reviews, all are 5 stars, and then other people around me have read it. My boss read it. Brock read it. Like there's just quite a few people who have read it. I had a book signing, and I totally sold out of all the books that I had at the book signing, and then getting texts from the people who've read it, and they're like, it is kind of surreal, because I didn't expect such a positive reaction to
Yeah.
it, and hopefully they're not just being nice. I hope that they really did like the story, and I think they do, because Amazon reviews you don't know who the people are when they're giving an Amazon review, and they're all 5 stars so far. So
Is it easy for you to take that like positive review? Because I've been in places where somebody's like, "Hey, that was great," and I'm just like, "Oh, thanks, awkward."
Yeah.
Like, what do you say?
I feel like that a lot of the times I feel a little awkward. They're like, "Wow, that was so good, and I love this part," and they're giving me the reasons they love it, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, awesome."
You really did
I don't know
read the
what to
book.
say.
How
Yeah.
do you know that?
Yeah.
Also, has there been anybody else that has like dove so deep in the book that they're creating, or maybe they're discovering like symbolism? I remember being in school, and there was like literature classes, and they're like, "Well, this is what this means," the Scarlet Letter and all this stuff. I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's a story, and it's like symbolizing this and this." Is there any of that in here?
Oh, a lot.
And have people discovered that, or are they creating their own, maybe even different from what you intended?
I think from what I've experienced with the readers of this particular book is they've noticed the ones that are very obvious. Like one of the Valairs, the leader, the alpha that I was talking about, her name is Seraphina. And then another one of the Valairs, his name is Cherub. So that's kind of a symbolize of the cherubim and seraphim. And then the wizard's name in the book is Adonai. So that's kind of a symbolism of God. And it's a very faith-based story as well. A lot of Christianity themes in it, sacrifice, learning to be brave, never losing hope, living with purpose. A lot of Christianity themes in this book. So, and a few people have even said that it kind of reminded them quite a bit of the Narnia books as well.
Was that important for you to put in there? I mean, specifically for your daughter?
Oh, yeah, that was... Well, so I had this idea... I had the idea of this story for like, I want to say 5 years or so. And I had the premise of it, but I just never sat my butt down to write it. So when I came to write it, it all just kind of started coming together. And my plan the whole time was to have a faith-based story about a good versus evil story with kids, and like kind of like a coming of age story with kids learning purpose and courage and stuff like that. And that's exactly what this book is. So, but yeah, that was always my intent, was to make a faith-based story where my daughter can read it and have a hero that mimics what Christ did for us in the Bible.
Cool. Going back in the process from sitting down day one, with your daughter and, hey, let's figure out a story. Would you change anything from the storyline, a character? Would you change anything at all?
Now, no, I wouldn't change a single thing. Now, there was a process where I changed a whole lot, so that's probably why I'm at that point now.
It's like we've changed enough.
Yeah, I've gone through changing so much of this book, and just fine tuning everything from just every part. It was very taxing to do it all yourself. So I did everything for the book. I didn't really have an editor, or I had some beta readers who read my first version and gave me some good feedback, similar to my wife, and that's why I was like, okay, I need to change some things. So I went back and changed some things, and just the whole process, just writing the story. First of all, you're going from a creative brain space, and you're creating all these stories and themes and characters, and that to me is the funnest part. And that's where I had the most fun with my daughter doing that. But then when it comes to like spell checking and grammar, commas, and all this other stuff, that is not like, that just completely drains me.
Is that so? That's not like a strong point for you?
No, not at all. So I actually had to really educate myself on how to do that. And I feel like I did a pretty good job with the final product. It took me a long time though to get it perfect, to wrap it up in a little bow and tie the bow and
get it here today.
Yeah, it took a lot of work.
Is there any advice you'd give yourself on day one, like going back, like even just like, hey, it's going to be tough, it's worth it? Or is there any advice you would give, like go to this website for spell check, or anything, like anything at all?
Yeah, I learned quite a bit from that. There is definitely a really good website. I can't remember the website now, but there is a really good spell check website I found to do that. I just watched a bunch of videos on different grammar, where to put commas, because using commas is kind of debatable a lot of times, and I didn't really know that going in. But
they change the rules too on punctuation whenever they feel like it.
Yeah,
I remember being a kid and, well, you need 2 spaces after every period. Boom, boom, and it just looks awkward. That rule at some point in the past, I don't know when it happened, just went out the window, and they're like, it's not necessary anymore. Like, who makes that?
Yeah,
rule?
Same here. So when I was writing, like, I'd put 2 spaces, and then it would show a little, that little green thing.
Yeah.
That you hate to see on the screen. And you just click it back one, and it goes away. So now it's just 1 space after the period.
Man, there was this website that one of my college courses was, the university was using it as like a testing. Yeah. And it was awesome. But it would give you suggestions like based on like, oh, well, this is, it may sound clear. It's like, how do you know this? You're a computer, like algorithms or something. But it was really cool. Is that the website you found? Was it something similar to that?
It was something like that, yeah. But with this book, a lot of made up words and names and stuff like that. A lot of stuff is going to show up that isn't really like the names. A lot of the names. Mott is not a common name, so it catches that. And Charity, her last name is Peculiarity, because she's kind of like just a bold individual, like kind of quiet to herself, timid, but bold, and doesn't really care what other people think. And she just kind of makes her way through life and does her own thing and does it a little differently than everyone and doesn't apologize for it.
Yeah. So, what's your daughter's name?
Holland.
Holland?
Yeah, Holly with an N on the end.
Okay. Is there anyone in the book that is almost mimics her in there?
Yeah, I would say the girl Bristol in the book kind of she definitely looks like her and kind of has that same kind of background. Like Bristol in the book she's a very sheltered child where her parents are always there and kind of suffocating sometimes, and I see my daughter react like that
Yeah.
sometimes with me and my wife. So
Did your daughter realize that she kind of
yeah,
related to
at
that
one point she said, "Dad, is that like me?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is kind of like you, actually. I didn't notice it when I wrote it, but
It's like,
yeah."
what are you talking about? No, totally not.
Yeah. That's the funny thing when writing, where I pulled from different people in my life and to put in these characters is definitely interesting. It's really interesting looking back at it.
Yeah. Would anybody get offended? It's like, wait, how can you know?
Yeah.
They're reading the book and they're like, that's like, this happened to me.
Right.
You know, obviously not in.
No one would. It's more. There's a few moments that like I kind of put in there as like a tribute to my grandpa. He passed away a few years ago, but like the dad, like the main character is Beckett and his dad Benjamin, and so like there's an opening chapter where he's coming up to wake Beckett up. And it was just like, I was kind of like reminiscing over that because when I would spend the night at my grandparents' house, like it would always be my grandpa to come up and wake me up. And he had like some dogs and I could always hear the little pitter patter of their steps coming up the stairs. And they'd always just ambush me while I was in bed. And so I kind of like remade a scene like that just as a little like nod to my grandpa. So there's little things like that throughout.
That's cool. So right now it's 10:47. I'm going to switch it back on the FM. We'll be able to talk for a bit more and then get this sewn up. The book is called Chimera. W.J. Norman's on there. You can search that on Amazon and get a copy for yourself today. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it is 10:47, and we are live. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy, and we are also on Channel 46. If you have the KHEA Radio app, thank you for downloading that. If you don't, do it today. Go search KHEA in the Google Play Store. Go search it in the App Store. Hit and smash the download button, and then you'll be able to access a bunch of discounts to some local businesses. You'll also be able to go back and watch video of every single episode of Kickstart that is almost in existence. But I have Jeff in studio, and I'm going to let him talk about his book and let people know why they should get a copy. So Jeff, let us know what the name of the book is, kind of the premise again, and then where they can get a copy.
All right, the book is called Chimera. It's a fantasy story targeted at middle grade children, not middle-aged children, middle grade children. Probably late elementary would be good as well. I'm getting really good feedback from adults as well. So if you like the fantasy genre in general, it's probably a story you would enjoy. I pull from, my influences in my reading life are J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, and Patrick Rothfuss. My mom actually drew those, the beasts that are in the pictures that are in the book. She's a
cool.
She's a natural gifted artist.
Did she do a good job of capturing what you were imagining them to be?
She did exactly what I was hoping. Actually, she would during the process while she's drawing them, she would send me like a picture of it, and I'd say, okay, well, the head's a little to this, and then she would fix it, and so it was a constant feedback on each of the characters.
If somebody doesn't know what Chimera, what it means, and they're looking at the pictures like on Channel 46 or they're watching on Facebook, they're like, what's going on? Can you describe, I guess, the meaning behind that?
Yeah, well, if you can do you mind turning to the first one?
Yes.
So basically, chimeras are mixed breed. One more. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay.
Chimeras are mixed breed animals. What they show it's a little further back.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. What they show in like a dictionary or something is a animal that has a lion's head, goat horns, the front paws of a lion, the back hooves of like a goat, and then like a snake tail, and then they have wings. So that's what you see with this one here. Her name's Seraphina, and that was the first beast. Now,
Seraphina is a beautiful name, I will say. But looking at this picture, I've seen prettier things.
She's an alpha, though. She's got to be tough.
Okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, she's the alpha of the Valers. So, but Chimera is the realm in this book. So it's not necessarily what the beasts are in this book, because Valers are what I came up for the name of the beast, which means basically like kind of like something that flies.
Okay.
And so a lot of Latin influences. I had to look up a lot of Latin things to create names for things. But Chimera is the realm, and so in a previous time in this timeline, Serafina got out into our realm, and people started calling her Chimera. So that's how the word got started here.
Wow. I feel like, okay, that'd be nuts, first of all, if Serafina, because y'all saw the picture of Serafina, what would happen? And, who's this guy?
That's a sniggler. He's got a little monkey tail, and they're like just little kind of like rat beings, like little squirrels in the forest.
He's cute.
Yeah, my daughter liked that one.
I want one. He has it looks like a mustache.
Yep. He has it's like an upside down handlebar mustache.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. So I know we talked about this, but is there any plans for more in the future, more copies, more versions, sequels?
Yeah, there is. I actually started the second book. I'm taking a short break right now just to give my mind a rest from writing, because we definitely need that every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I have a full-time job and being a dad and husband and stuff like that. So definitely need a break for now, but I do want to come back I have an idea of a 4-book series to actually take the 12-year-olds all the way through till I think 16, maybe 18 years old.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
No, just if you like the fantasy genre, you can go to Amazon and just type in the title of the book, Chimera, with my name, W.J. Norman, and you can find it and order your paperback there. And it's good with Amazon Prime as well.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out today. I appreciate
thanks
you.
for having me.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Bye, Facebook. Y'all be blessed.